President Donald Trump says there could be a deal with Iran soon, despite thousands of American troops arriving in the region. Tehran is warning the U.S. against a ground invasion, threatening to set U.S. troops on fire. The White House says Mr. Trump is still weighing his options. Take a listen to what the president said about this last night.
Are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power. We're ahead of schedule with Iran.
And consider this. In an interview with the Financial Times yesterday, President Trump says he wants to take Iranian oil. And he said he's considering taking Karg Island. That's Tehran's hub for oil exports. But Mr. Trump claims the U.S. is having good negotiations with Tehran. Pakistan now says it will host talks between the U.S. and Iran in the coming days. We've got team coverage for you on this Monday morning. Elizabeth Palmer is tracking the fighting from our London bureau. But let's begin with CBS News Congressional reporter Taurean, who is covering the Trump administration from our D.C. bureau. Taurean, good Monday morning to you. So President Trump is doing two things at once here. He's touting diplomatic progress, but he's also leaving a ground invasion on the table. How do we make sense of this?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. So the president is pretty much saying he could do both. Both could be true at the same time. Part of our understanding of it is based off what he told reporters on Air Force One yesterday. He said that in addition to the 10 previously announced oil tankers that Iran is allowing to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, the country apparently allowed an additional 10 to go as well. This is something that the president called a big gift from Iran on top of negotiating this 15-point plan or demands that the United States has given to the Iranian government. But at the same time, as you mentioned there, potential invasion of Karg Island would see indefinite investment of U.S. troops, military engagement on the island, which runs pretty much antithetical to what his campaign promise in 2024 was no prolonged wars, forever wars, and potentially no new wars. But this was something that caught the attention of Representative Himes, the top-ranking Democrat on the House Intel Committee. This is what he told Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation yesterday.
As a member of Congress on the diplomacy, or you think he's flat out lying?
Oh, I think he's flat out lying. Last Sunday when he was told, and by the way, we're in exactly the same position today, oil prices now $112 a barrel and, futures in the stock market down 2%. Last Sunday, he realized, oh, my God, I've got a financial cataclysm on Monday. So he just made it up that they're in negotiations with the Iranians.
A large part of Representative Himes' skepticism there is based off of the situation in Iran. He believes that the Iranians acknowledge that they now have the leverage in the situation, especially considering they control the Strait of Hormuz. But again, the strategy in going after Karg Island would be to choke Iran economically. It's a huge part of its oil export strategy and services. So U.S. control there would be a great blow to Iran.
All right, Taurean Small in our D.C. bureau. Taurean, thank you. For more, let's cross now to CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer in our London newsroom. Liz, good morning to you. So what have you been hearing from Iran about the talks and the prospects of a U.S. ground invasion? I'm wondering if this gets the Strait of Hormuz any more open to non-Iranian vessels.
Doesn't look like it. Just this morning, about an hour ago, the spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spoke to reporters and said unequivocally that Iran has had no direct negotiations with the United States. It did acknowledge receiving what it called messages from the Americans, but that they contained excessive and unreasonable demands. As for the prospect of talks in Pakistan, he poured cold water on that, saying we have not participated, implying that they would not. Now, what's really going on? Well, only Iranian insiders know. We know that the country is being pummeled. Airstrikes every night, including in and around the capital. The regime clearly needs that to stop at some stage, but its main condition is going to be some kind of guarantee from the United States that the regime remain in power, which is going to be a crushing blow to the millions of Iranians who are hoping that the theocracy somehow would be toppled in this war. It sure doesn't look like that's going to happen.
And what about that, Liz? We started the year with these mass anti-regime protests across Iran. What do we know about what's happening to the people inside the country now?
Well, they're frightened. I speak regularly to people in the capital. There are explosions all night long. Nobody's sleeping very well. Schools are closed. I'm told that food in the market is dwindling, although it's still available. But truck drivers are too afraid to drive from the countryside where the fruit is grown into the cities, so the prices are rising. And above all, I hear that people have given up on regime change and are very afraid about what their future looks like without having any control over what it might be. And that people who were previously in favor of this attack in the hopes that there would be a new government at the end of it have lost hope, really. And now everybody's basically staying home and is very frightened.
All right, Liz Palmer in our London bureau. Liz, thank you.